sorry for that wonderful introduction. It was a fantastic time that we spent in Scotland with you guys. Thanks for coming up. And thanks for asking me on tonight. Great to see. Just before I get started, I want to say well done to everybody in the team. That's some great recognition there. 32 new members within 21 days is absolutely fantastic. And I bet you, if you just record these, I'm recording this one, so it'll be interesting. I bet that goes up really fast in the oncoming months. So, some of you have heard me before. My name's Lynn McDonald, and there's also a lot of new people, so I'm going to tell you my Cleaneasy story. I've actually been in Cleaneasy for almost 24 years. I know, I don't look old enough. It's the makeup. I joined Cleaneasy in August 1992. But didn't actually officially get started with it until February 1993. Now, the reason for that was my partner at the time had an illness, and he was extremely ill just after we got started. And personally, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't see the big picture. I had my own business. And I had been looking to start up another business. I'd been looking to get a loan from the bank for another franchise, believe it or not, selling heating control devices that reduce your boiler from firing up and reduce your gas bills by 75%, but I needed £25,000. Now, I had very little in the bank and spent a long time trying to work out this fantastic, positive business plan that the bank just kept rejecting and rejecting and rejecting. Till eventually I completely ran out of money. I was pawning my jewellery. I had some old wedding presents. When I was married, I sold them off, used to go around the charity shops. And now the next part of my story is quite embarrassing to admit publicly on a public webinar when I'm videoing it. But it's a very important part of my story, and it's absolutely true. I completely ran out of money, completely ran out of food, and I had to go and get what's called a crisis loan. Now, that's my situation when I joined Cleaneasy. I was absolutely broke. And I will point out at this stage for the people who've been in the business and for the new people, sometimes people say they can't afford to get started. Well, I think if I ran out of food, I think it's fairly clear that I couldn't afford to get started. But if you really believe in the business and you see the opportunity to make money, you'll find the money. I borrowed the £25 to get started, and yes, it was £25 back in 1992. At that time, got 50 books for your £25 and a briefcase, believe it or not. Some of the old school may remember the briefcases. But that was how much it cost then, and so it's amazing that you can get started now for exactly the same price. So I was in this one-bedroom flat, pawning my jewellery, didn't want to get started in Cleaneasy. I had my own business, I had ran my own business. It ran successfully for a long time, but it ended up failing. But I thought I was above that, and I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm being detrimental to Cleaneasy, but it's really, I didn't understand it. I just didn't want to go out putting catalogues out, which it was a all catalogue business at that time. And I didn't understand the power in network marketing, not in the slightest. Fortunately for me, my boyfriend at the time, ex-boyfriend now, did understand network market, had been involved in it before and did know the power of it. However, that wasn't really what sold me. It was when I ran out of food. Needs must. This is the type of car I was driving. I mean, you don't take proud photographs of a B registration, Sarah, that you have to start with a screwdriver. It had been broken into, it had no ignition barrel, and I had to use a screwdriver to start that car. It was a death trap. A window wiper flew off one day as we got down to a T-junction. It was pouring down with rain. It was absolutely a death trap. But that's where I was before I started with Cleaneasy. Now, my business did go very, very fast in these days. And the exciting thing is, they can go even faster now with the online side of the business, which I'll chat about a little bit at the end. But in the first 3 weeks, I'll tell you what my retail plan was. It was catalogues. It was 150 books 3 times a week, without fail. We retailed, I think it was £2,000 or £2,500, and I had one person called Robert Craig who retailed 1,000 in the first 3 weeks, and that gave us an income of £564. That's the most important check and the most important income I've had through my time in Clunies. And you heard Caroline saying my best checks are over £24,000, £25,000. They're huge amount of money, amazing amount of money that's been earned for this Clunies business that I didn't believe in when I first got started in it. So that's the most important income, because it's important to make money right away. I went for pawning my jewellery, running out of food, the embarrassment of having to go to the government and get income support and crisis loans, to have that £564 in income in 3 weeks. It was a lifesaver. Now, I got into the team building straight away. If you had a pulse, I would speak to you about the business. I want you to remember this little saying, although we're doing a lot online now, but if you put a mirror under somebody's nose and it steams up, talk to them about the business. Just talk to them about the business. That was my theory. We were broke. I couldn't feed my kids properly. I was ashamed. I had to make money. So I was speaking to everybody who would listen. So by my first complete month, the second month in Clunies, the business turned over £10,000. And I earned just shy of £2,000. Now, we say you can't get rich quick, and it's not get rich quick, but that's quite quick to me. And it's going quicker now. It is going quicker now. You've got to remember, or maybe, sorry, I should say it another way. I was working 24/7 in these days, from morning to night. And in the first year, at the end of the first full year, I ended up with 6 gold distributors. Now, for the new people, that's 6 people who have built a team turnover to around about £10,000. And it's 6 gold distributors, and the fantastic team turned over £1 million in the first year in Clunies. That's phenomenal. And the exciting thing is, that's what can happen now with the online. But as I say, I'll chat a bit about more of that at the end. So consequently, the 1-bedroom flat eventually changed into this huge big house. Now, I will be honest with you, I am not a lover of modern property. I stay in a new town, but I like old property. But this house, for the 1-bedroom flat, a house like this, it was unbelievable. It was mind-blowing. And the bedrooms were the colours that the kids wanted them. It's amazing what can happen with Clunies. And I got my choice of cars. Now, I'm not really a car person, guys. I'm Scottish. I'd much rather buy another house. I mean, this car you're looking at cost me, I think it was £38,000. But I was driving a B registration Sierra that was a death trap to go and have my choice of cars. The income had went from £0 to £4,000. That's what, after 12 months in business, the income was £4,000. And the team, the fantastic team, because this is always about the team, turned over £1 million. And then the following year, it turned over £5 million, and it's continued to grow from there. Today, the team, and you're part of it, a fantastic 10 Steps in the Blaxhill team. I hope I pronounced your team right, Carolyn. Are part of that huge success is turning over £2 million every 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks. It's amazing what this business can do, the changes it can make to your life, but I will clearly say that it is a team. It's not about me. This is where I stay now. All the kids left me. I was in that big house with my little chihuahua, Lola. And I was like a pea in a tin can, and now was the opportunity to find my older property. Now, I've been here for a year. It's really cute and I really like it, but after being here a year, I've recognised, now they are rare, these properties in West Lothian and Livingston especially. They're rare, it's a new town, but I want a bigger one and I want more land. But I absolutely love this cute, cosy little cottage. I'm fortunate to have other houses. My son lives in a house that I own. My daughter lives in a house that I own. I sometimes get rent and sometimes I don't. I try to make them pay their way, but I'm not very good at it. So consequently, my kids aren't that great with money. But hopefully we can show them how to make the money. That's the resolution for me if you're not very good with money. Now, my mother used to say paper can take on anything. Well, so can the internet and these webinars and videos. So what I'm showing you here is some success stories in national press. I've even been on the Esther Ranson, not her naughty programme. It was the documentary type programmes twice. The Love Rags to Riches story. Some of these stories really mean a lot to me. This first one here was my first big success story, and the Scottish Daily Record, where my cousin had picked up his paper and nearly fell off his chair, and he joined the business and got to that gold distributor level, and for years earned a part-time income of £1,500 to £2,000 every 4 weeks, until ill health he chose to retire from the business. So the business works. I could tell you anything, but that's the press coverage. These stories I remember. Look at that car. Oh my goodness, my taste was dreadful. My posh neighbours hated that car. But at last I could spoil the kids. Do you know what I mean? Take them on holidays, do what I want, when we want. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't fast and free spending right away. When you're coming from nothing, you've got a lot of things to purchase. So being a thrifty Scottish person, I didn't just get up to that £4,000 a month and stop there and enjoy the income. I wanted to grow that to get better things and improve it. And this is the business that was going to give me dreams, what I could never have dreamed it would be. I mean, I know they say beforehand you've got to see it to believe it, to achieve it, but if I'm honest, I didn't see this massive success that Clean Easy was going to give me. I was driven by a desire to put food on the table for my kids, to make sure that they never ever went without ever again. And that actually still brings a tear to my eye now. I remember having to say no to a packet of Skittles. That one brings a tear to my eye. So much so that the team used to tease me and bring Skittles to my opportunity meetings. I've been on lots of conferences. If you're new to the business, Clean Easy recognise you with trips abroad. I qualified for Hong Kong in my first year. I wasn't targeting it, just the turnover and what we'd achieved. And this is Hong Kong, and Gavin Scott there. Hasn't really changed much, Gavin. Bob Webb here. Don't remember this chap, he's not in the business anymore. And me with loads of curly hair. That was my very first ever trip to Hong Kong. I've not put all the trips up because I've been loads of places with Clean Easy, and I'm really excited about sharing India with some of you guys on here in May. Can't wait. I haven't been on a conference for a few years due to ill health, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit because it's really important, because this residual income that's created from Clean Easy has saved my life. There's Rob Foster with hair, a little bit chubbier in the cheeks as well. And this is Florida Keys. This was one of my favourite ones. Both of these are Florida Keys because it was one of my favourite ones. This was where you look out your window and this view of the dolphins is what you could see from your window. Absolutely fantastic. And many people will tell you it's so difficult to describe how phenomenal these are, how fantastic these events are. So get them on your goal board. You can achieve them. Things are going quicker now than they've ever went before. Lee and Lindsay, I think this is 1996, 97, still hammering away at the business. This was their first holiday. I started in 92. I was earning £4,000 a month within 12 months. But this was the first holiday, and it was a working one. I was actually doing a training for Sue and Jeff Burrows in Blackpool, and the kids got treated to a day out in Blackpool. They would kill me if they knew I was using these photographs. It's not very clear because I had to photograph it and scan it in. The next two photographs and the next two slides are going to tell you, and let me explain to you why I love this business so much and what it has really given me. To me, Clooney's isn't just about the money. Yeah, the money is what we start for, and the money is really, really, really important. It's what you can do with the money. Clooney's to me is about family, what I can give my family. The smile on my son's handsome face here. Look at it. They say money can't buy happiness, but money put a smile on his face. He absolutely, my children loved Friends. They can recite every single episode word for word. Thank you, Avril. They can recite every word of Friends word for word. When they were teenagers, it used to drive me mad. And when we did this Universal tour, the guy had told them the Friends studio wasn't there. And then as a wee surprise at the end, he got complete control over it. That was Clooney that put a smile on his face because that was his 21st birthday present to LA, and Clooney paid for that. I could never have done that before. Never have done that before. And this picture here, to me, epitomises the Clooney business and what you can do with this opportunity. This is the Ivy restaurant in LA, normally reserved for superstars, famous people, politicians, pop stars, actors, or Clooney's distributors. I love that. I absolutely love this business and what it can give you. And what I would like to say is the reason that I'm showing you this, and the reason that Carolyn and Paul's asked me on to share my story, is because hopefully it'll inspire you and let you realise that you can achieve this too. Whatever I've done, you can achieve. Because it's a simple system and you've got a fantastic system within the whole 10-step group, and you just follow that system. It's just action and activity that works. Now, there's a wee picture. It's supposed to be a sick woman, but to me it looks like a sick man. But I'm not going to go into too much detail, but in 1999, when I lost my dad, I suffered from what's called post-traumatic stress, and it can be very, very debilitating, and it did take me out of the business for a long time. I was in the business, but not in it, if that makes sense. Now, here's an interesting part of that story. At that point, I was earning £10,000 a month, and my income doubled to £20,000 a month during these few years of the illness. I actually worked so well that I thought maybe I should leave it alone for longer. I was active, but not in the proper way that you would be if you were physically and emotionally healthy. Clooney saved my life. If I had been in a job, I would have lost it. I'd have lost my house, I'd have lost my cars, I'd have lost everything. But I had built a business. I had a huge business and a huge team and a fantastic residual income. Yeah, it can go up and down. If you don't work for a long time, it can affect it, but I still have a fantastic residual income to tap into. And continue to, build the business. Came out through that. And have actually, unfortunately, I had another little bout when I sadly lost my mum a few years ago. Unfortunately, it's a recurring thing in times of stress and emotional stuff. Anyway, I am sharing this only for one reason, because again, this is like the admitting to you that I had to get a crisis loan. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because the power of that story. If I hadn't been in Clooney's, I would have been in dire straits. God knows what I would have done. Clooney's has saved my life. And I know it sounds dramatic, but it has. And there's so many stories out there of people losing their jobs. There's no such thing as a secure income. Happened to my brother last year and put him in a terrible place. And yes, he is now in Clean Easy part-time. This is my beautiful family. I've got 3 absolutely gorgeous grandkids who are my world. Now, what Clean Easy gave me is what I call owning your own life. When the children were wee, that's small for all you English people, kidding. I'm winking because my granddaughter can wink. The weeest one can wink. It's so cute. I could go to the school sports things. I can go to the assemblies, the nativity plays, and it's the same with these wonderful girls. I can watch them. I can take them places, and my goals is to build this business for the girls now. The older ones will benefit always from it, but I want my girls to go to Florida. I want my girls to go to Gran Canaria. I want my girls to have what this business has given me. And the fantastic thing is I can pass this business on to my beautiful family. So this is my reason. And the reason I'm showing you my reason is you really need to find out what your reason is. The reason for doing it is the magnet. Work on your goals. The magnet pulls you there. The stronger the goal, the stronger the reason. And if you go back to my story, I couldn't put food on the table. Rob Foster in the business, who has a cheque of, I think it's in the region of £30,000 every 4 weeks. When he started, he had more county court judgments than you could talk about. And he used to jokingly say, if you want something to motivate you, get some county court judgments. But obviously I'm not recommending you get yourself into debt, but I'm recommending that you get a good reason. What is your reason? And interestingly enough, and I'm going to finish on time, Carolyn, hopefully. One of Carolyn's questions, she asked me to share my story with you, but she asked me this question: where do you want Clean Easy to take you and your amazing team? And that's you guys. You're part of my amazing team. I'm so lucky that people like yourself are in my team. I'm fortunate. So I'm going to turn that question around to you, the audience. Where do you want Clean Easy to take you? Where do you want Clean Easy to take you? Clearly defined goals, followed up by learning, understanding, following the system and activity plan. The sky is the limit. The power of these catalogues, whether it's door-to-door, online, or both, is phenomenal. At the moment, 90% of that £2 million a month turnover does come from the catalogues. But that's only because we've been doing the catalogues for 90 odd years, and the online's only a year old, or some of you wise 10-steppers and Blacksall team have been a bit wiser and doing it a bit longer, but in its infancy. And I do believe the online side of the business is going to take over the catalogues. It's going to take us worldwide. But what I would advise is, if you're only doing catalogues, get online. Get online. You can double up on your income. And if you're only doing online, use these free catalogues to get out with them and learn the catalogues. You're going to bring people into your business who want to do catalogues, so you need to learn that side of the business, but you can double up your income. But it's entirely up to you. I've got people doing online exclusive, catalogues exclusive, and the wiser ones are doing both. I can honestly say, guys, this opportunity has never been better. Yes, in those 24 years ago, almost 24 years ago, my business did go really, really fast. But can I be honest with you? I've not seen that repeated very many times over the years, because normally this is a marathon. It's a slow build-up. But the online side of the business, we were groups that were building up, and the way that we're building it and sharing these income checks, this has now went from a marathon to a sprint. The sky is the limit. Set these goals, share them with your upline, the person who brought you into the business, and they'll help guide you to get these goals. Listen, thank you very, very much for listening to me. I hope it's been beneficial and useful to you.